So I pulled the car inside today because it's nasty and wet outside, but I'm gonna try to tackle the race pack. There's a little bit of wiring I have to do, and I have to make another big plate bracket thingy for it, but we'll see how much I can get to tonight. So I'm gonna start by taking out the gauge cluster and seeing how I can mount a plate back there, and hopefully I don't have to cut this up too much, even though it's already broken, so I really don't care too much about it. So I have the cluster out, and I have the shroud back on and my wheel on, and I have the race pack here. I'm gonna try to see, I'm sitting in my car right now. I'm gonna try to see where, that's pretty good. That's like totally not obstructed by the steering wheel at all. If it's a little higher too, it'd be okay, but there it almost looks like it's all the way down. It actually looks pretty good. I was originally planning on making like a flat plate to hold it up, but I might just make a plate to block off the cluster and then just like mount this up in front of it separately. That might make the most sense, because then I can still get to these screws maybe? Tricky. That's what I'm seeing right there. It's right in front of my face. So if it was higher, you wouldn't really see that. I think that's perfect. Cool. I run around with a marker and marked like a 1/4 inch off from the back of the dash, the race pack. So now I'm just gonna have to take this off and then like tape off kind of like a 1/4 inch off that line. And then I'm gonna trim it. Actually, that line won't be too bad. And I'm gonna leave that center hole up top there so I can attach it to the dash. I can reach my hand up behind and hopefully screw that in, which now it's looking like that might be less likely. Maybe I'll rethink that and use one of those side holes. So I cut the gauge cluster, so now it's flush back here, and now I'm gonna make an insert that's basically flush with this front here, and it's gonna go all the way up to the top, and it's gonna through bolt through the plastic, probably 2 in the bottom, 2 in the top, and then I can reach underneath and screw the whole thing in once the wiring's in. So it should be good. So now I got the really funky shape marked out on the metal. I'm gonna cut it out and then bend it up and see if it fits. Hopefully it does. I don't have too much left. So I just got way ahead of myself. I cut this piece of metal, and I had these tabs bent up on the top and the bottom, and I fit it, but it had a couple gaps. So I had this like edge trimming laying around. So I cut like a groove in the bottom so it would start, and then it goes around, and then where the tabs are, I cut out the back side of it, and then that way, when it sits in here, it'll be, there won't be as big of a gap. So now I'm gonna take it all apart. I'm gonna cut this out, mount the race pack, test fit it, make sure everything's good, and then I'm gonna paint it, and then I'll hard mount it in the car. Holes drilled and the area cut out for the back of the connector on the race pack, and now I'm going to dry fit it and then drill some holes here and see if I can mount it to the cluster.
What?
Pizza.
Is this gonna be part of the video?
I don't know, Ted.
Oh god.
Is it?
I don't know. Hope not.
I f***ed up. So once the drill went through these holes, it like shot through just because acted like a screw. And it punched a nice hole in this. I tried super gluing it back together, but it looks like crap. So I'm not sure. Really? I mean, when you're in the car, it might not be that bad. Oh man, it's so ugly. And I already modified the crap out of this, so it's not like I'm gonna be able to do anything with that. I'm quite upset about that. Quite. What do you do? It's ruined! Stop running away from me. Stop spinning. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to start wiring some of the stuff for the race pack. I got left and right turn signals. I have headlights, low beams. What else? All the other stuff's CAN. I can do a cooling fan output. That's pretty cool. So right now I have my fan on all the time, but I can wire it to this and it grounds it at a certain temperature that you can change on the dash, which is sweet. I have the fuel level, which I can wire into the sender, and I think that's it. So I have the fuel level, and then I have like left, right, and then high, low. And then the cooling fan I can do another time, but these I gotta get going. So I'm gonna wire those in to the harness. Comes with a fancy schmancy harness. So I'm gonna dig into that. All the essentials wired up now. The only other 3 wires that I left in the harness are the 2 buttons. You can do a switch to ground these guys for options in the dash, and then I have, or actually sorry, these 2, and then this violet white one is a ground for the fan at a certain temperature. So I'm going to connect that to the ground of the fan relay. I already have just constant ground, and then I can actually regulate that. So I'm going to test this out, make sure everything works, and then I'll wrap it all up. Okay, here goes nothing. Oh dang, that's pretty. Cool. So it's getting a fuel signal. Oh, that's so sweet. So this just needs to be calibrated for my tank. But let me get the cluster and see if I can get like the blinkers and stuff to work. Okay, now I have the cluster sitting here. Okay, see blinkers? Oh my gosh. That is so sweet. Okay, let's check the dimmer. Yeah, it dims. The dimmer's blinking though, which I'm not sure why. That's interesting. That might be something I have to fix. I don't want that blinking. Okay, hazards. Yeah. What else is on there? Anything? Yeah, I think that's, yeah. High beam. Oh, that's real cool. Oops. So we get a high beam light. Don't know why it's flashing though. Okay, I figured out why it's flashing. So there's like a brightness adjustment for the normal dash, and if you just leave it all the way, it's just constant, because it's clearly a regulated signal to keep the light at a certain brightness. So as long as you leave that all the way up, it doesn't blink. Mounted to the panel, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, put that trim around it, and then stick it in there. So I mounted the 4 screws, and here's how it looks. So I'm just hoping, yeah, that should be good. When it sits in the car, you should be looking at it more like this. The only thing that's kind of annoying is there's like a big gap here, but when there's no light behind it, you shouldn't even notice that. There it is, all mounted up. Nice and rigid. I think it came out pretty good. And there it is with the steering wheel. That's it. Check that out. Turn the headlights on. You got your blinkers. Got your high beam. You got the hazards too. That's badass. It's really late, super humid, I'm sweaty. I will pick this up when I set this up with the Haltech. I actually just noticed it works straight away with the Haltech. Oh, that's crazy. So before I get back into making the dash work, I have to take care of one thing, and this is why I hate parking under trees. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a car ever get this dirty. It's because of these stupid berries, and they are just like caked on there. So hopefully I can get this done in a timely manner. That's better. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Ooh! So I just went in the Racepak software and changed the configuration for this, so that it shows the temp here, the boost here, and the AFR here. Now these numbers, you just type in you find the channel you want, you enter it in, and you can enter in whatever you want this to say. I chose temp instead of like ECT or whatever, and then boost as manifold pressure, and then AFR for AFR. I'm still struggling to get the fuel to read correctly, but I also made the speed sensor hopefully work, and then I put in the gear ratios, so it should be able to tell me what gear I'm in. So now that I got the dash working a bit, I'm actually gonna go try and take the car on the road, which I haven't really done, and I'm gonna go fill up the gas, and then we'll see how everything does. But I did like a quick bolt check, made sure all the wheels were tight and everything looked good. So let's hope nothing goes wrong. Finally get a chance to fill it up, and it says 100, which is a good sign of something, but it has no idea how fast it's going. So Ted and I messed with the speed sensor signal a little bit, and we haven't really got it to work. I mean, it's all over the place even when we're sitting still, so then the gear doesn't work either. I'm using the stock ECU temp gauge from the 1J. If this is right, the car runs really cold. That being said, the fans stay on all the time, so that could be why. I couldn't calibrate the fuel sender from the Mazda, so instead I used, I think it was a GM sensor signal in the Racepak. That's 90 to 0 instead of 110 to 3. So it's close, but it's not perfect. So I just filled it up, and it says 100, and it might actually be 100%. So we're not sure, but I'm not sure how much better I'll be able to get right now without doing some more research. Some things I knew I took from the drive, though. I need to get a boot because it's immensely hot coming out of here. I can barely even touch the shifter. It's really hot. And the diff makes a crap ton of noise because everything's solid. It is absurdly loud. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'll pick up the little things left with this in the next video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to keep following along with my build, Ted's build, anything we do here, hit subscribe. If you want to get notified when we post, hit that little bell icon. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.